Hello, my name is Winnie and I wanted to take some time today to talk to you about a book I've been reading called Be the Leader You Want to See by Susie Ramroop, which is this one right here. This book has made such a big impact on my life, and I just really wanted to take some time to talk about it. I know it sounds cliche. Please don't pause it yet because you think it's just another book. In fact, this is probably after reading several self-help books. I'm a keen and avid reader. This one has been one that has really stood out to me for many reasons, and I wanted to talk to you about that today. I think first of all, I want to start by saying that I'm a mum of three, and the reason why this has been very impactful is that, like many mums, after having my girls, I was a little bit knocked in my sense of identity. I faced a lot of mum guilt, like many people do, and I felt like I had to make all of my career and life decisions around my children because it suited them. Now, I'm not saying that that's not important, but I think when you make yourself almost a secondary person in your own life and you think you're doing that to the benefit of others, sometimes it can cause more detriment. And I think this allowed me to see that there were so many ways that I could achieve my own ambitions in a way that didn't just not compromise my children and my family, but actually gave us all a stepping stone to be happy and to just be able to realize our own collective ambitions because I didn't put mine on the back burner. And that's so important. The best way that I describe this book is that it felt like a light bulb went off inside of me. And a lot of books give you light bulbs on the outside. You think, wow, I should really go out and seek that mentor, or wow, I really should go out and do this thing. But what this book does is to help you to think, what do I have within myself that I can tap into, elevate, and use to the best of my ability to make the best use of the resources I have around me? And I think that's the biggest benefit. When I started reading this book, I had just gone through a series of two career changes. One that was an intentional move at the time, it worked for my family and really gave me opportunities to step up in my career. Unfortunately, I was mapped into a different role during my maternity leave, and as much as it was a great role, I really enjoyed it. I loved the people I worked with. I also had a lot of challenges, and what the book helped me to do is to find the answers to some of those challenges within myself, identify exactly what I was doing wrong, and help me to be able to frame my future decisions to avoid some of the pitfalls that I'd made in the past. And that's so important. I think for me, the three biggest takeaways that have made a huge positive impact for me, it's being able to get rid of in-between energy. Now, in-between energy is something that gets created off the back of not making decisions. So I found that what I would do is just be in a constant loop of waiting for things to happen to me or trying to justify some of the decisions that I'd made in the past, especially if I knew that it hadn't worked. I was just accepting the things that people were doing around me because I felt like that was the most comfortable thing to do. And actually, what this was doing is breeding a lot of kind of really difficult thoughts, and I wasn't able to articulate those thoughts correctly. I wasn't able to find space or clarity to be able to come up with really positive solutions that could help me move forward in a positive and successful way. So, what I really took from the book was to be able to make decisions, clear decisions, and at least be able to take a step forward and create the space and the clarity to be able to benefit from those decisions in the right way. So one of those for me was to apply for a new role. It was a role that I'd looked at and actually thought of all the reasons why I should not apply for. And I actually went back to the role and thought about all the reasons that I should apply for it and finally went for it. And I was a successful candidate for the role. So it just goes to reinforce the importance of not standing in your own way, getting rid of some of that in-between energy, and actually making a decision and allowing that decision to work for you. It also talked about the importance of taking accountability for yourself, and that was so important for me because in taking the step to apply for the role, it also helped me to understand that I was accountable for the person that I showed up as. And imposter syndrome didn't have a place in my life if unless I allowed it to. And I think taking accountability is important because a lot of self-help books either talk about finding solutions outside of yourself or essentially trying to find something to add to yourself to make yourself better. But I think what this does is it helps you to understand that imposter syndrome is a construct that can be made up in your mind. So by just disabling it, disarming it, and being accountable for the credibility that you bring forth is so important. Be the leader you want to see is based on the principle that there will inevitably be people watching you as a leader, whether or not you are a leader leading people or you're a leader within yourself. There will always be people watching you. So being accountable for the person you show up as just helped me to be able to understand that I could control those pieces. I wasn't a slave to people's perceptions of me. I could control my own narrative. And then beyond that, it was fine if I couldn't control it, but at least I felt empowered and I felt positive about being able to show up as the person that I would be proud of seeing every day. And that was so important. So like I said before, I was able to succeed and get that role. But I think the important thing for me is it helped me to see that I was accountable for the person I showed up as in that role. And that's just been really freeing and empowering. It's gotten rid of a lot of that in-between energy I had, where I was just waiting for negative things to happen, because I was scared that it would all go wrong. And actually, I don't feel that fear anymore. I feel very empowered to show up as my best self every day and be proud of that. And actually, because I'm proud of that, I'm not so worried about how other people perceive me, because I know that that's the only element that I can control. The other thing was doing things that make you a little bit nervous. Is that nervous excitement. I used to perceive nervous excitement as a negative thing. In fact, anytime I felt really nervous about something, that would be it. I would just stop. And, for someone who's a very resilient person, that actually just kept knocking me back, because it made me question myself as a resilient person. What the book helped me to do was to understand that nervous energy more and enable me not to see it as a blocker, but actually as a catalyst for something new, knowing that when that nervous energy was coming meant that something bigger was about to happen. And what the book does is it challenges you to seek out opportunities every single day to give you that nervous energy. So maybe approaching a stakeholder that you would never have approached before, going out for business that you would never have applied for before. And it just really gives you a springboard for understanding that you can control some of that narrative around you. I think what was also important was it talked about not allowing yourself to be second best, which was so mind-blowing for me. It talked about the fact that a lot of women seek positions second in command because we felt like it was easier. You're not accountable for the results or the issues that happen at the top spot. And almost being second in command is the safe space. But actually, what it helped me to realize was that being second in command meant that you probably did all the work and someone else took the benefit and the almost the clapping for it, which is not a negative thing if that's where you choose to be. But I think what it helped me to do was not be afraid of the top spot and being able to realize that there are opportunities to succeed and mold a life around it that you want to, if you take accountability for the resources that you have around you. For example, how do you make sure that your team really understand what you need from them as a team? Are you just allowing them to do what they want to do or what they feel is right because it's easier than having a difficult or confrontational conversation? And also respecting your needs allows other people to respect them too. So for example, do you have an assistant that you don't explain your needs to and you're just allowing them to do what parts of the job that they feel is right, leaving you with a big void and a big need that you have that's not being met? So how could you bridge those gaps and be able to create an expectation of the people around you to make sure that they meet the needs that you have, and then narrowing that gap? I think that's so important. What the book has done is really given me a catalyst to be able to reframe the way I think about things, and it's given me a newfound confidence that I wouldn't say I didn't have before, but it was just hidden right in there with all of those negative voices shrouding it. So I guess in summary, I just want to encourage you, if you're someone who's feeling stuck, if you're someone who just needs that little bit of empowerment to be able to do what you want to do, then Be the Leader You Want to See is for you. I don't think I've done it justice in 10 minutes. I mean, there are so many gems. I think the other important thing is that it's got lots of little activities that you can do every single day as you're reading the book to help you feel that little bit more confident. And I think that is what you need when you've been in a place of difficulty and frustration for so long. So please do go and get it. It's on Amazon. Be the Leader You Want to See by Susie Ramroop. I could not recommend it enough. And if you're finding it hard to make the time, start a book club, which is what I did. And it's really helped me to see the benefit of reading the book end to end. So thank you so much.